What's up guys? For today's video, I'm going to be teaching you guys how to solve a Pyraminx. A Pyraminx is a tetrahedron shaped twisty puzzle that turns like this on the inner layers and like this on the outer layers. This is a puzzle recognized by the WCA, and knowing how to solve it could advance your cubing career. So the first step is to align the centers. Each face has 3 centers, although it doesn't really have a center. They're just these pieces that connect to their designated tip pieces. So I'm gonna try and find yellow. I'll start with the yellow side. So I have this one, and this one. These are the 3 yellow centers, and I'm just gonna turn the inner layers, or wide moves you could call it, like this, right? I'll just turn like that and turn like that so that all 3 of them are on the same side. Sometimes you might have a case like this where one center is up here and the other 2 centers are facing downwards. In that case, you can just do R and L prime, or L prime and then R to bring them up. If you have a case like this where you have the 2 on the bottom but the center doesn't line up, you can just turn the top so that it does line up and then do the same thing. If you have a case like this where none of the centers are on the same side, you can just choose one. I'll choose this center and I'll line it up here so that I can turn this one to insert it and turn this one the other way to insert it. So I started like this, and then I just pick this one and make sure it lines up so that both of these corners have one of the centers on them, so it's easy to insert. Once you have the centers put together, you can move on to putting in these edge pieces. So this edge is going to be yellow, since I have yellow here, and green. So I look for the yellow and green edge, which is right here. And then I'm gonna do a simple algorithm. So since yellow is on the bottom, I wanna hold yellow facing forward. And since this is on the right, I'm gonna do the algorithm. R prime, L, R, L prime. This is the equivalent of RU, R prime, U prime, which would be on a regular cube puzzle. Over here on the red side, I have a case where the yellow, which is supposed to be on the bottom, is on the left. So I'm gonna do the inverse of that algorithm. I'm gonna do L, R prime, L prime, R, and then it'll be inserted. Now I have all of the edges inserted on the bottom layer, so now all that's left is the top layer. Now there are 5 cases for the top layer, which would generally require 5 different algorithms, but there's a simpler way that only requires 2. So here, sometimes it's easier to look at it if you have all the tips lined up, so you can feel free to do that. And once you have that, you have a case here. So in this case, I'm gonna look for the one edge that does not have any colors lined up. So this edge has green lined up with green. This edge has blue lined up with blue, but this edge doesn't have any colors lined up, right? Green does not line up with red, and red does not line up with blue, or it's not supposed to. So I'm gonna take this one and make sure that I'm not facing this side. So this side has nothing lining up, but this side has one thing lining up, and the unsolved edge is on one side. So I hold the unsolved edge on a side and hold one lined up incorrect edge on one side. I'm gonna do the soon algorithm on a Pyraminx. So R, U, R prime, U, R, U, R prime. And then I completed that. In this case, I have the red piece, the piece lined up with red on the right side, and the unsolved edges on the left side. So I'm gonna do the antisoon algorithm. L prime, U prime, L, U prime, L, or L prime, then U prime, then L, and then that step is finished. If you get this case with two flipped edges, which you would have gotten if you had one of the previous cases, or you could just get this initially, you just have a simple algorithm to do. You do R prime, L, R, L prime, U, L prime, U prime, L, and then you'll have solved the puzzle. Now for the final two cases, these are very similar cases and are pretty difficult to distinguish between each other, but there's a very simple method. So in this case, I have three edges that are not proper, right? So I want to make sure that all the centers are lined up so that it's easy for me to distinguish. Now I know that green is over here, the green edges are over here, but the green centers are on this side, which means this has to go clockwise. If it has to go clockwise, that means that I have to do antisoon, which is L prime, U prime, L, U prime, L prime, U prime, L, and then I'll have solved it. Now the opposite case is where everything has to move counterclockwise. So in this case, I have the green on this side, the green edges, and then the green centers on this side, which means that it has to rotate counterclockwise. So in this case, since it's counterclockwise, I'm gonna do the regular soon algorithm. R, U, R prime, U, R, U, R prime, and the puzzle is solved. Congratulations, you just solved your first Pyraminx. Thank you guys so much for watching. Please like and subscribe. I hope you learned something, and make sure to check out some of my other videos there and there.